whenever I voted, I was voting for my executioner. My executioner. And what I mean by that, in my work life and in the Army, the people that send you to war, that send you to Vietnam or Korea, wherever they send you, when you join the Army, you take an oath. You take an oath the very first day that you get in the Army. And they let you know the very first day, and it's late at night. It's at midnight. They let you know that you are mine. That's what the Army lets you know. I am your mother. I am your father. You do what I tell you to do. You're mine. You take an oath, and when you're taking the oath, it says, I surrender my life over to you. Mr. Army, that's what I did. That's what we do. So anytime after that, they could send me anywhere, and it's over with. Over with.
So would you look at that kind of as maybe like a little bit of resentment towards the government a little bit?
Sure it is. And let me tell you why. Well, not with the Army. I really appreciated that. What the Army told me. Oh, yeah, they told you. Tell me the truth. I'm going to the Army. I could die for you. Tell me the truth. Fine. I came in here. I volunteered to go to the Army. So I know what the conditions are. But in my work life, 32 years, I worked for the nuclear weapons plant here in Kansas City, Bendix, Allied Signal, Honeywell. They worked us out at that plant. This is a nuclear weapons plant. That is no game. That just saying the words ought to make people think. You made nuclear weapons. What does that entail? What does that entail? Make a nuclear weapon? Well, we're not going to tell you. That's what they said. And we don't want you to tell anybody else. Nobody. Don't tell your wife. Don't tell your children. Don't tell anybody what you do out here. And then, 32 years later, after working there, they come and say, well, the government, what we didn't tell you back then is that everything that you was doing here, your life was at risk. All them chemicals that you were working with, all them exotic materials, the radioactive materials that you were working with, they could kill you. They were no doubt contaminating you.
So, not to cut you off. So let's go back. So we talked about, because I mean we kind of jumped ahead a little. So let me ask you this: before we get to this point, because just to kind of summarize, you were in the military, and then you went and took a government job at a federal complex. But being that, because I know you have a large level of discernment, and I know you're a thinking man. When you decided to sign, in your words, sign your life away and go ahead and be in the military, What was going on at that time in the world, or even in your life, that made you say, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. I don't mind doing this. I'm going to go, fight for the freedom of others.
Well, one thing about me, all of my people, my father, his 7 brothers, my grandfather, all the way back, those people went to the army and went to war. All of them, even in the Civil War too. And I did listen to what they were saying. And they were talking about benefits. There's certain benefits that you can get or will get from going to the army. And yes, I got those benefits. And it has made me secure, even though, of course, a lot of people say, well, they didn't do what they should have done. No, they didn't. But I fought for it. You didn't fight for it. If you didn't get it, you didn't fight for it. If you did fight for it, you gave up. It took me 50 years to get it. I didn't give up in 50 years. I didn't get it until 50 years later. That's with the Army. See?
And by it, what do you refer to as it?
What was it? My PTSD benefits, going to war. Yeah, I got it. I got it after 50 years. Not after 50 years. I got it after. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was 50 years.
So it took that long. So when you started serving, what war was going on when you were serving?
Vietnam.
Vietnam. For the young people who are listening. So during Vietnam, you and your brother went, right? Which, if you listeners haven't figured out, this is my uncle. So when we refer to my uncle's brother, he's referring to my grandfather, Riley Copeland. But so what happened in the Army? What'd you do there? What was your daily task or duties there?
Well, when I was in the States, in the United States, I was what they call a personnel management specialist. This was I'm not trying to glorify it, but that job, my MOS, I could shoot up. I could move up in the ranks. Okay. And I was moving up, but I left and went to Vietnam. I volunteered to go to Vietnam.